So you complained to the conductor?
Yeah, he got a bit upset by this.
Yeah.
He didn't respond to my complaint. He just carried on with his "show me your ticket or I'll throw you off the train."
In fact, he asked you to step off the train, didn't he, for a second?
No,
for a bit
not
of a chat?
at that time. That
okay, but that's the bit we're going to go to
20 minutes
now.
later. My wife gave him the tickets and showed him the ticket. He went off. 20 minutes, half an hour later, the train came to a stop.
What happened in that 20-minute, half an hour? Just talk us through the whole time. just kidding. Just kidding.
I was standing there.
Just kidding, producer. Sorry, carry on. So, anyway, 20, 30 minutes later, he's come back.
No, he didn't come back. The train stopped at Westbury. And I had a tap on the shoulder, and I could see this guy beckoning me and was standing on the platform.
It's a lovely word, beckon.
It's just the finger. But anyway, I assumed naively that this was... maybe there was some more space somewhere.
He was going to tip you the nice...
You know, or something. So anyway, I got off and I was immediately greeted by this sort of...
Lion.
What?! It's not David Corbett, is it?
No, he raised this whole issue. He accused me of causing a disturbance. And I don't know, he went into this tirade of if I wanted a seat on the train, I should have booked it, and what did he expect?
Okay, but what happened then?
He walked up the side of the coach, got on, prevented me from... I'm telling you.
Back in October, I fell down a rabbit hole. I had intended to make a video about the crappy horror film called Vampire Killer Barbys, to be released in time for Halloween. But while attempting to do research for that essay, I found myself watching video after video of The Big Breakfast and having a much better time. So I pivoted. Pivot! And I decided to make something about the morning television show I watched almost every day of my youth.
Senseless harlot! Tempt me, would you, with your licentiousness?
My channel is tiny and I am the sole content provider, so I haven't got a research team that others have. In fact, researching Big Breakfast is not an easy task. Anything as ephemeral as a daily magazine show is not documented in the details that a scripted drama would be. I wish there was some sort of copyright library where all TV shows and movies could be checked for research purposes. But alas, I don't even know if all recordings of Big Breakfast even exist anymore.
You're a writer, you are a writer
Yes.
for a magazine. What's it called?
It's called Truth Seekers Review.
Truth Seekers Review. So you're after the truth.
Exactly.
Now, would it be fair to say that you are sceptical of NASA's documentation of the moon landings?
Yes, definitely.
Anyway, this is a way of me saying that I made some mistakes in a video titled Looking Back on the Big Breakfast. An incredibly well-informed user, who I did ask to appear on the channel but they didn't reply, so I won't use their name just in case they're shy, got in touch with some additional information, which I'm going to go through here. Paul Ross was the outside broadcast presenter before leaving and later returning as main presenter. Not so much a correction, but it is correct. I didn't go into a great detail about the outside broadcast presenters with the exception of Mark Lamar, but yes, before his stint as main host 3 days a week, Paul Ross did do the down your doorstep sections. I believe Danny Baker also did this for a while, possibly due to his friendship with Chris Evans at the time. But there is some more information there and hopefully stuff you find interesting. Mark Little became the full-time host after Paul Ross's 3-day-a-week replacement, Richard Orford, swapped roles with Keith Chegwin on the outside broadcast. Keith and Mark then shared hosting duties for a time, 2 to 3 days a week, before Mark took the role 5 days a week. Keith then covered Mark's holidays. I had forgotten a lot of this, as I say a lot of the information is not documented, so I was working largely from memory of watching the show in the 90s. I may have blocked this one out, as anyone who saw my first video will know I am not a Checkers fan. The show wasn't taken off the air in 1996. I said in the video that the show came off the air for a short time while they revamped the Big Breakfast house for Shannon and Rick's first episode. Now I remember this clear as day, but apparently it didn't happen. And having done further research, I can find no evidence of it coming off the air. While the house was being remodelled, it was broadcast from the garden when the weather permitted and from a tent when it did not. God knows what I was remembering, but I swear I remember it clear as day. But that goes to show you what memory is like. Rick Adams was moved to the outside broadcast shortly after Johnny Vaughan's initial 2-week stint on the show. Rick left the programme around 6 weeks before Johnny started full-time. Well remembered. Most people can't even recall Rick Adams' name these days. Apparently he works in America on the Weather Channel. I don't know how you can have a whole channel dedicated to the weather, but they've got one. Yeah, I take the correction. Johnny and Denise's initial stint lasted around 1 year and 4 months. I said 2 years, that's my mistake.
Oh dear. And these are today's vital statistics. Vital statistics, Sally, Silla. Vital statistics, and Owen, the thriller.
Jenny McCarthy's week on the show preceded Kelly Brook. Yep, I couldn't remember, it wasn't written anywhere I could find, but thank you. The Millennium Show started at midnight. This might be the fault of my wording, as I said the show welcomed in the new year, which conjures up images of doing the midnight countdown. Which didn't happen as the show started 30 minutes after that. But being broadcast throughout that historical night was welcoming in the new year for me. I guess it's semantics. The show didn't come off the air between Johnny's departure and the 2001 relaunch. This is when my viewing became erratic before eventually petering out completely. If I was to get something wrong about any era of the Big Breakfast, it was bound to be this one, and indeed I was. Rise was cancelled in 2003. I said 2002, my mistake. The Big Breakfast reboot wasn't cancelled, it was only ever on for a 4-week run. It might be another semantics issue, but I think a lot of people say cancelled when a show is not renewed. Effectively, you get the same result. No show. But correct, it wasn't torn from the schedules, it was gently retired.
We've also got at B Fawnchu says, I really can't believe that the 4th show is going to be the last Big Breakfast for now.
Can we get an R, guys?
Oh.
Thank you.
I hope the folks at Channel 4 may renew it. Don't cancel it or else I'll suffer in the mornings. Oh, thank you so much.
I would like to publicly thank that user for getting in touch with me. My channel isn't monetized, and at this time I have less than 500 followers. So any interaction that lets me know that someone is watching and cares about my accuracy means a lot to me. Another YouTuber, who coincidentally was making a video about the Big Breakfast at the same time as me, John Kasonic, was kind enough to give me a shout out in the description of their video, and I would like to do the same for them. They made a 3-part video about Channel 4's breakfast television programming before, after and during the Big Breakfast. It's very entertaining and goes into greater detail than my original video does. I've subscribed to their channel and I recommend you do too. Anyway, I have lots of videos planned coming up. I also have a movie to make. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.
The Big Breakfast is the only way to rise.